Be sure to write in the comments, do you believe that they just cheated the test? Did Jeff pay off the doctor? Explain it for me. How did they all pass with no advance notice? Your guess is as good as mine. Coach Greg, and finally the video you've been waiting for. Jeff Nippard got a bunch of fake natties and put them to the test. How to look like you're on steroids, and so the answer to that is you take steroids. It's as simple as that. How do you look like steroids but yet pass the drug test? Well, the answer is also simple. You take steroids and then you cycle off. But what if you were tested without any prior knowledge, no advance notice, and you're at your all-time best? Would you believe it then? And so essentially I read through the thousands of comments, and almost everyone believes that the likes of Julian, Hussein Farhad, the rest of them, that they're lying. That the fact that they have more muscle than most normal people proves they're fake natties. That if you don't pass the eyeball test, that it's impossible that you're actually natural. And so my audience, they know me best. Waiting for Greg to make a 30-minute video on this, 5,500 likes. And of course, the regular favorite, Greg Doucette, gonna have a field day with this one.
That's why I'm secretly bringing in a medical doctor who's gonna blood test every single person later in the video.
Remember guys, this is Jeff Nippard. He's not going to be paid off by these guys. I don't think that Julian or Hussein paid off Jeff and said, fudge the results, fake it. I mean, Hussein already has passed 2 separate blood work tests with me looking at the results, and y'all said, oh, but he's part of the company. And so you're just lying for him. Do you think Jeff lied to help me to prove that Hussein was natural? Or do you think he just passed on his own?
On the right is the definitely natty zone. On the left side is the questionable zone. Most people thought these guys were probably taking something.
Here's the thing. All of these guys could be on steroids and all of them could be natural. Just because you don't look very good and you have no muscle doesn't mean that you're actually natural. And to the same extent, just because you have a lot of muscle doesn't prove that you're a fake natty. And so what does prove it? Blood work. A drug test. If you fail a drug test, if you fail blood work, well, that proves that you're a fake natty. And so until that event happens, it's hard to just say, oh, he's a fake natty.
While I owe a lot of my deltoid development to solid science-based training principles, I probably owe more of it to my mom. Like, just look at her shoulders right now at 60 years old. Lifetime natty.
A lot of people think that Jeff is a fake natty. I've done videos on him in the past, and I do believe that he's 100% natural. And when you look at him compared to his mom, who's 60 and looks as good as this, do you not see it's very much genetic?
If you're chasing that naturally enhanced look, building a wide set of delts is absolutely crucial. And the real key is the side delts.
The key to looking like a fake natty when you're actually natural is to have very good looking muscles in a tank top. And so which muscles are those? Upper chest, traps, shoulders, and arms. Those are the show muscles. If you look enhanced in those areas, well, many people are going to think that you're a fake natty. Take Hussein Farhad, an extremely small waist, which makes his upper body look even bigger. But when you compare his upper body to his legs, they pale in comparison. He's 5'11" and 185 pounds. Does that really seem impossible? Jeff Nippard, who's 5'4" and 3/4, only weighs 155 pounds. Yet people think he's a fake natty. And if you compare Jeff's physique when he first started his diet at 185 pounds at 20% body fat to his physique right now after losing 30 pounds, 10% body fat, he looks way more enhanced now despite the fact that he has a little bit less muscle. One of the key components to looking like a fake natty is you have to be lean. If you have fat covering the layer of muscle, you can't see the vascularity, you're going to look a lot less suspicious than if you have veins and muscles striated everywhere.
A lot of people pointed out that everyone in the questionable zone had bigger traps than everyone else. And science does suggest that having massive traps can be an indicator that you're on some special supplements.
And so the truth is, despite what you may think, whether you have more androgen receptors in your traps and so on, you can't just decide if somebody's on steroid based on specific muscle groups. When I first began to use steroids, the muscles that grew up the most was my quads and my back. No one talks about those muscles, yet for me, that's what improved the most. I mean, I'm on testosterone right now, HRT, and I took steroids for over 10 years. Do my traps look overdeveloped? But what's more impressive, my legs or my traps? Look at the traps. Let's do this there. Versus, what about the quads?
Your legs are like
What about that? Which one's better? I think that the big meaty traps that look fake there almost,
yeah.
it's not a good look. I don't think traps is a particularly sexual muscle. Like if you're trying to look hot to attract a woman, this is not the muscle I think you need to work on. I would say the chest and the shoulders and the arms is the most important. And to slim down the waist, you want to have some form of a six-pack.
In my personal opinion, this next thing is the biggest factor that's actually fully within your control, and it's simply being lean.
Look how much better Jeff looks at 10% body fat than at 20. It's night and day difference. I don't think many people are thinking Jeff at 20% body fat is a fake natty, but now that he's at 10%, I think the accusations would double. All he did was go on a diet. He went on a cut. He used Macro Factor. He actually owns this app, and if you use code Jeff, you can get it for 2 weeks. And I strongly suggest you track your calories. If you track your calories and you eat in a deficit, you're going to lose weight. You know what else you can do? GLP Max. It's going to reduce your appetite, reduce your cravings, make it much easier to stick to your diet. And that diet, I'm sure it's the Circle Diet from Cookbook 3.1. Code Greg, 15% off.
This is what I look like just standing in my kitchen under normal lighting with no posing. All I did was run downstairs to my posing room, hit a most muscular pose, and switch to a Sony a7S III camera.
And so what Jeff doesn't show is on the way down the stairs, he took Turk Platinum. And that is the difference. Night and day, I'm kidding. He just went downstairs and had better lighting. And so you see how much difference lighting can make. Jeff could literally have said, hey, I put on 10 pounds of muscle and I did it in only 10 weeks. All he did is take a photo before and after, and it's clear he looks so much better with the proper lighting.
Let's talk about Julian. This guy's caught the internet by storm, with the majority of people saying there's simply no way he's natural, especially when you consider he just turned 19 years old.
And so with Julian, I got in trouble, Larry Wheels got in trouble simply for backing him up. And so what did I do? I went above and beyond. I wrote him and said, hey, can you get your blood work taken right now? And if it's natural, I'm going to defend you. And what do you think happened? Well, it showed he was natty, but yet the people, they still don't believe it. Oh, he just cycled off. He took this, he took that. I went over in detail explaining why that is not what happened. He's then surprise tested yet again. Now, the key point is surprise. Yes, I agree. If he had advance warning, he could have stopped taking what he was taking in order to have time to cycle off and pass the test. But he didn't, yet he still passed. And so I think the comments are simply ridiculous. When you have the proof that he passed the test and you still don't believe him, what more do you want him to do? And so, are you cursed if you have 1 in a million genetics? Are you cursed? Because if you have the best genetics in the world and you train hard, you're going to have an amazing physique. Way better than the 1 in 100s, the 1 in 10s, the 1 of 1s. This is the problem with society. They don't want to think that there are exceptions, and Jeff explains it well.
Just like there's a huge range in height potential, there's also a huge range in muscle growth potential. If we see someone who's 7 feet tall, we don't immediately think they're taking growth hormone.
There's exceptions in height. This guy is 7 feet tall. He doesn't take growth hormone to increase his height. He just naturally is tall. Same as a high IQ. IQ 170. Does that mean they cheated on the test to get 100 every time? Or is it maybe possible they're just smarter than you?
This is the bar graph of everyone's levels, and they range from 415 to 689, except for one person, subject number 6.
And so I know what you're thinking all right now. They're all in the normal reference range except for that one individual. And you're thinking, yeah, but they could have been on HRT. Yeah, it's possible, but if they were on HRT, that would suppress LH and FSH. Those numbers would be very, very low. And so because they aren't low, it shows they're not taking testosterone exogenously. Now, they did a full blood work test. Jeff did not have the time to go over every single blood marker. SHBG, AST, ALT, all of it. Normal, guys. And so you can't simply say, oh, they just cheated the test. And so unless you think Jeff is lying, that he paid off the doctor, gave them someone else's blood work, There is no other explanation. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the actual explanation. And in fact, most of the time, that's what it is. They're natural, they have great genetics, and they train hard. Remember, if you want to get your blood work taken to get various supplements and so on, I strongly recommend you go to AlgoRx. Qualified doctors can go over your blood work, tell you exactly what you need. And so if you're interested, click the link in the description.
LH and FSH levels were all normal for everyone. And to be clear, I definitely do think Spencer is natty.
And so you can hate them all you like, but I'm going with the science. Jeff is a science-based lifter, and I'm a science-based natty or not poster. And I'm telling you, they're natural. Be sure to write in the comments, do you believe that they just cheated the test? Did they have a fake cock or something while giving their blood work? Did they somehow get their identical twin to go in and do the test for them? Did Jeff pay off the doctor? Explain it for me. How did they all pass with no advance notice? Your guess is as good as mine. And so if you want to look like a fake natty, here's the fake natty starter pack. Well, first of all, we all know you got to get Turk Platinum. If you get this, you're getting a head start on your gains. Next, you got to get lean. Get to perhaps 12% body fat and or less, and you're going to look even bigger than you actually are. Third, get a proper tan. With a proper tan, it's going to show the definition. You're going to be able to see the muscle detail that much more. And also, you're going to want to take Cialis. Now, I know it's perhaps not legal wherever you are, but if it is legal, I'm just telling you, you're still considered natural. You can take Cialis and be natty. It's not banned by WADA. And what that does is increases blood flow in your veins. And 4, it's most important to train the muscles that you can see in a tank top, the shoulders, the arms, the upper chest, and your traps. If you work on those muscles and you have a proper tan, you have low body fat levels, and you're on Cialis, well, that's the recipe for being a fake natty. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. And if you look like a fake natty and you're interested in being in Harder Than Last Time sponsored athlete or ambassador, please click the link in the description and apply. If you pass the blood work, well, you're going to be a next co-owner of HTLT supplements. And until next time, I am out.